voice sounds like mine, then you've clicked on the right video.
Or if you're talking like this, then you've come to the right place as well. Hi, I'm Mark Baxter, and if your voice sounds like that, then you are definitely in need of a quick vocal rescue. I've got 6 steps to get you just there. Number 1. The first step might sound obvious to some people, but if your voice is trashed, then it's not obvious to you. Let me see how I can put this. Shut your mouth. The clinical term for it is talkativeness. That's a polite way to say it. It's usually phrased another way. Your coworkers or friends might say, "You're in blabbermouth." So really, if you feel your voice is getting fatigued, generally it means you're overextending your word count. It's not that important to lose your voice. Slow down, take a breath. Most important, listen to what somebody else is saying. Or perhaps a roll of tape may help. Number 2. Number 2 is pretty simple. Take a bite of an apple. If you've been talking a lot, to the point where your voice is hoarse, all of these muscles surrounding your larynx, including the jaw and the tongue, are going to be locked into a certain behavior. Something as simple as eating something chewy, and I recommend an apple because it's going to be fairly transparent, going down, won't cause any mucus, but maybe a crust of bread will do the same thing. It's just a lot easier to keep some apples on hand at your workspace, where you're teaching, at rehearsal. And so it's the chewing and then swallowing that resets all of those muscles that have been locked and loaded for however many hours you've been talking too much. Number 3. Number 3 is an old-fashioned one. Used to do this 100 years ago. Gargling forces you to create a stream. If your voice is fatigued, it means you've been pressing your folds together as you speak. Don't know what I mean? That's what I mean. And so if you've been pressing your folds together, there's going to be a lot of friction. They will get swollen. That's why your voice gets hoarse, is because your voice is swollen. And so that means there's not enough air flowing through as you speak. So something as simple as keeping a stream of air through a little cup of water in your throat is going to do the trick. Number 4. Number 4 has a fancy title. It's a semi-occluded vocal exercise. Don't be afraid. You just take a stir straw. Those are the very thin ones, very narrow ones, not a drinking straw. And you simply put it in your mouth and hum into it like you would play a kazoo. Little slides will do fine. Just make sure the air isn't leaking past. If your lips are buzzing, that means air is shooting through. You want to channel the air into the straw for this reason. If your voice is shot, that means too much pressure has come up underneath the vocal folds, which are right here. And what this does is create some backwash. So the straw itself causes air to be compressed, therefore it can't all come out the straw there, to be compressed, and it starts forcing back down, opposing that very air pressure you're bringing up. That puts your vocal folds in a nice neutral or balanced environment because your speaking is imbalanced. That's why this is therapeutic. Now, if you don't happen to have a stir straw, you can always use a balloon. That creates some back pressure. Ooh. Singing into the balloon will do the same thing. Now, if you're not a clown and you don't have many balloons around, you can also take a bill and roll it up, but roll it nice and tight. Those of you who are performing in the 80s will be familiar with this routine. And you simply use the bill as you would use the stir straw. Who would have ever thought we'd do it like that? Number 5. Number 5 is in case you don't have a stir straw, you don't have a balloon handy, and you don't even have a dollar bill. But you want to create that back pressure for that semi-occluded effect. You want a therapeutic massage to your vocal folds. This you always have. A finger, plug one half of your nose, use the other half of the nose to create that back pressure as the straw did. Now, if that opening is too big, I recommend you do this. make sure that when you plug off your nose, the sound stops. If it doesn't, that means too much air is leaking out of your mouth. The whole point here is to create back pressure, down pressure, on top of your vocal folds. That's what's going to rejuvenate them. It's a bit of a crutch. It just takes that upward load and mitigates it. I'm serious. Number 6. Now, number 6 is not so much a quick vocal rescue as it is preventative maintenance. Far more important in the first place. Let's say you're speaking a lot, you're on the phone, your workplace is echoey or noisy, you are a bartender, you're a teacher, you're an instructor, aerobic instructor, or a yoga instructor, so you're talking in an echoey room, or you're just an angry mom, or you're a teenager. There's a lot of things that cause vocal fatigue, but it's really one source, and that is you're speaking to the room instead of to your ability. So my solution is to take one foam earplug. These are really cheap, find them anywhere. You roll it between your fingers and you shove it in one ear. Just one ear. So you use the other one to hear the outside world and you use this one to hear your inside world. What this gives you is a bone conduction rather than the sound of your voice echoing off the room or competing with the volume. Instead of that, you'll get a nice, warm, rich feedback of your voice, and it will knock your behavior down a few notches, which is exactly where it should be. All right, hopefully these come in handy for you, and more hopefully, you don't need to use them often. I'm Mark Baxter for Lesson.com.
Can't you see the possibility?